Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to embark on a two-day state visit to Saudi Arabia today, marking the first visit by an Indian leader to Saudi Arabia's commercial hub in over 4 decades. The high-profile visit underscores the remarkable transformation of India-Saudi relations from modest beginnings to a comprehensive strategic partnership spanning economic, defence and cultural dimensions. There's more in this report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's two-day visit to Jeddah comes amid growing economic ties between India and Saudi Arabia. It will be the first visit by an Indian leader to Saudi Arabia's commercial hub in over 4 decades. The high-profile visit underscores the remarkable transformation of India-Saudi relations from modest beginnings to a comprehensive strategic partnership spanning economic, defence and cultural dimensions. In the financial year 2023 to 2024, India's imports from Saudi Arabia amounted to $31.42 billion and exports stood at $11.56 billion. India and Saudi Arabia enjoy close friendly relations, reflecting the centuries-old economic and socio-cultural ties. Diplomatic relations between the two nations were established in the year 1947. The historic visit of King Abdullah to India in January 2006 was a watershed moment that resulted in the signing of the Delhi Declaration. It was followed later by the Riyadh Declaration in 2010, which elevated the bilateral relations to a strategic partnership. PM Modi's visit to Saudi Arabia is expected to result in several new agreements that will further strengthen the strategic partnership between the two nations, building on their shared interests in regional stability, energy security, and economic growth. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit will be a milestone in taking India-Saudi relations to a new height in an era of geopolitics marked by Donald Trump's tariff shock, Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative debt trap conundrum, and the Russia-Ukraine standoff. The visit will also be an opportunity for the Indian and Saudi leadership to exchange views on the situation in Gaza and efforts to end the Israel-Hamas conflict. Trade, connectivity, energy, security, defense, investment, diaspora, culture and cooperation are the focal points of the proposed meeting between PM Modi and Saudi Crown Prince and Prime Minister Mohammed bin Salman. The proposed India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, or the IMEC, will attract significant attention of both the leaders. The IMEC underscores the growing economic and strategic convergence between India and the Middle East. It is seen as an opportunity for Indian and Saudi businesses to collaborate and benefit. For India and the Middle East, the IMEC signifies a deepening relationship with the convergence of the Middle East and South Asia into West Asia. For both sides, it can be instrumental in stimulating economic growth, creating jobs, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. From Saudi Arabia and the UAE, it represents a diversification of partnerships between their roles as energy producers. India's trade ties with Saudi Arabia and the UAE are already substantial, and this corridor could further strengthen their economic integration. If the IMEC corridor materializes soon, it will give a huge boost to the kingdom's other entrepreneurship-driven ventures as well as the Neom City project, which will provide an alternate route to the troublesome Houthi-influenced Red Sea-Suez corridor. Indian investment in Saudi Arabia has increased significantly in recent years. These investments span diverse sectors including management and consultancy services, construction projects, telecommunications, information technology, financial services, software development, and pharmaceuticals. The Indian community in Saudi Arabia numbers at approximately 2.7 million and is a living bridge between the two countries. Bureau Report, DD, India.
And in an exclusive interview with Arab News, Prime Minister Modi described the kingdom as a trusted friend and strategic ally, emphasizing how bilateral relations had expanded significantly since the creation of the Strategic Partnership Council in 2019. Prime Minister Modi praised Saudi Crown Prince and Prime Minister Mohammed bin Salman's leadership, calling him a strong advocate of India-Saudi Arabia bilateral ties and a visionary who has inspired global admiration through the reforms under Vision 2030. It complements India's Viksit Bharat 2047 or Developed India by 2047 initiative, highlighting shared economic ambitions. PM Modi noted that trade between the two countries had grown even amid global challenges. India and Saudi Arabia are also working on bilateral investment treaty. The proposed free trade agreement between India and Gulf Cooperation Council has immense potential to transform the economic relationship between India and Saudi Arabia and the region. PM welcomed deeper integration of Saudi and Indian businesses, particularly in emerging sectors like green hydrogen and technology. India is also exploring joint projects in refineries and petrochemicals. PM Modi also pointed to growing defence cooperation and landmark joint military exercises as signs of increasing strategic trust. Prime Minister Modi said the India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor would be a key catalyst of commerce, connectivity and growth in the entire region. It will facilitate development of resilient and dependable supply chains, increase trade accessibility and improve trade facilitation. PM Modi congratulated the kingdom for winning the bids to host World Expo 2030 and FIFA World Cup 2034. He was grateful to the Saudi leadership for the continued assistance provided to Indian nationals who visit Saudi Arabia each year for Umrah and Hajj pilgrimage, and thanked for support of the Saudi government to encourage yoga in their country. And marking a significant milestone as the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Saudi Arabia's key commercial centre in over 4 decades. This visit is geared towards enhancing the strategic partnership between India and Saudi Arabia. DD India's Amritpal Singh reports from Jeddah.
Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia Mohammed bin Salman shall be receiving Prime Minister Modi when he arrives in Jeddah today. The Prime Minister shall be here for the next 2 days. The Crown Prince and the Prime Minister shall be co-chairing the second meeting of the Strategic Partnership Council, where trade and investment, energy security, defense cooperation and regional security issues will be high on the agenda of the talks.
Host of issues will be discussed on the economic partnership, on the defense partnership, on the political relationship. So we are expecting a very fruitful visit, very good discussions and very important outcomes.
On Wednesday, the Prime Minister shall be interacting with Indian workers at a factory here in Jeddah. There are about 2.7 billion Indian diaspora living and working in Saudi Arabia. Given that Saudi Arabia is a leading voice in the Islamic region, the situation in West Asia is likely to figure in the talks. Also, Saudi Arabia is playing an important role in the mediation between Russia and Ukraine. The two sides could exchange notes on that. Also, the fact that Saudi Arabia is an important partner of India in meeting its energy security needs, this would be high on the agenda, and out of the several MOUs that are expected to be signed, an important or a significant MOU in the energy sector could be signed between the two sides during this visit. With cameraman Saurav Bakshi, this is Amritpal Singh for DD India in Jeddah.
All right, we'll go across to Saudi Arabia now. My colleague Amritpal Singh joins me from there. Amrit, we saw your report. You said that Saudi Arabia is a key partner of India when it comes to meeting its energy security needs. So tell us why Saudi Arabia is important and why energy could figure high in the talks between the two sides.
That's right. Energy security is a key component of the bilateral relationship, given the fact that Saudi Arabia is the third largest supplier of both crude oil and LPG to India. India sources its energy needs from Saudi Arabia, about 14.3% of the crude oil imports and about 18% of the LPG from Saudi Arabia. Given that Saudi Arabia is a key producer of crude oil and LPG, India requires Saudi Arabia, and that is the bedrock. That's the bedrock of the relationship between the two sides. And this time around, we could see the signing of a very significant energy pact between the two sides after the two leaders meet.
All right, so this was Amritpal Singh reporting from Jeddah.